What's going on, guys? Freeman here again with another deck profile. This is the deck I took to locals this past Sunday and took second place with. We did go X1. We lost to like a fish water stun deck. I definitely misplayed a few times and just lack of reading his cards, to be honest, so that's kind of on my fault. And then all of our victories were against tiers, so that felt pretty good. This deck definitely has a pretty decent tier matchup, especially when you win the die roll. I did manage to win the die rolls in all my tier games, so that definitely helps. But I definitely think the Flunder deck is a pretty decent budget option right now. All this stuff just got reprinted, well, almost all the stuff. And even like some of the staple cards like Prosperities, Dark Rulers, and stuff, they also just got reprinted. So if you ever need a budget deck, this is probably a decent option to be able to stay competitive. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. This is going to be Flunder, of course. As you can see, I am using the reprinted ones because I also built this deck out of the Megatins for the most part. So we're playing the 3 Robina. Obviously, this is one of your better birds, along with the 3 Eagle. Those are the 2 3 of birds. And then we have the 1 Toucan and the 1 Stree. Just 1 ofs on these. You do not need any more. They are very searchable and they kind of suck to draw because it's hard to combo if they're in your hand and you don't have the other birds. So that's it for the little birds. On to the big birds. We have the double Empin. This card's crazy, especially against Link decks. They seem to have a hard time outing it and they just can't activate any effects. We have the 1 Avion for kind of playing on their turn and putting up a negate. Then we have the 1 Mega Monarch, which of course is a very good card at interrupting them. And then to round out our normal summons, we have the highlight of the deck, the Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds. Very good card. Onto some hand traps. One of the main reasons I wanted to play this deck is because this card, Dimension Shifter, obviously opening this card against tier is very powerful, along with other decks too. Even if they don't completely rely on their graveyard, they still have a hard time kind of maneuvering around this card. So obviously this card's crazy. We're playing the 1 of DD Crow because this card is searchable from your Rabina. And if you already have Eagle in your hand, or if you're playing maybe on their turn and you don't need to search your Eagle or your Barrier Statue, you just search DD Crow and it's just kind of a free interruption for no reason really. So definitely worth the 1 slot in my opinion. And then just kind of rounding out our hand traps, we're playing 3 Imperm. I obviously needed to play a hand trap that did not conflict with D-Shifter, so it was either Imperm or Ash I was thinking, but I ended up going with Imperm just because I thought it was better in the meta right now. Ash doesn't really seem all that great. Onto the spells, we are playing the triple Prosperity and triple Duality. We just need to dig for engine cards. I'm not playing Extravagance because you don't need more cards in this deck, you just need specific cards, which is why I think these 2 are the best options. Draw 2 is great, obviously, especially since your extra deck doesn't really matter, but you really need to see engine pieces with these pots rather than just having more cards than your opponent. We have the 3 Adventurer. This card's crazy, obviously. Gains you life points if that does come up. It also dodges stuff like Impermanent Veiler and even like Dragospelia, so definitely pretty good. 3 maps. This card's crazy. We're playing 1 Terraforming to go along with it, so basically we're playing 4 maps, and we're also playing 1 Mystic Mine. I was really just playing Mystic Mine because I wanted to play Terraforming. This never really came up for me, and you do kind of... it's a decent going second card because you do definitely struggle going second, but you don't want to sit on this for too long, even if you just Mystic Mine them, just so you can keep play and then like out your own Mystic Mine. That's a pretty decent option, just so you can't get negated, but it's definitely not a card that you're willing to stall out for multiple turns with it in this deck. For 1 of spells, we're playing the Unexploded Winds. Very good card, obviously. No one really knows what this does, but you can just kind of tribute your opponent's entire field. 1 Called By. I love this card, and I would play it in almost all of my decks for sure. And then we are playing 3 Dark Ruler. Like I said, this deck does struggle to go second, so you need some answers to be able to answer some boards, just be able to play at all. Otherwise, like 1 Negate sometimes can just end your turn on one of your normal summons, so you definitely need this card. And then we're playing the 1 Dreaming Town, just because very searchable off Empin, don't need more than 1. Onto the sideboard, I am playing 3 Ultimate Slayer and the Evil Twin card. I don't really know how to pronounce this, so I'm not going to try. This was pretty good for me all weekend. This is my first time really using this package. I figured it was pretty decent going second option in this deck because, like I said, you do need good, strong going second cards in this deck. I thought this would be good, and it was pretty good for me all weekend. I'd definitely play it again. For some going first stuff, we're playing the Auto Win card in Featherstorm. Didn't see this card all weekend, but obviously it's very good. And then we are also playing Double Rivalry. Did see this card a lot all weekend, and against Danger Tier, if you like chain this to when they summon a danger, sometimes they just pass, which has ended up being what happened in my first round. So Rivalry is very strong. Obviously, this card is pretty oppressive right now, so if you're playing a deck that can use it, I would probably do so. Just for some more going second hate, we are going with the triple evenly. Just again, same theme. We need to be able to go second, and this is a pretty good card against tier, as well as a lot of rogue matchups, or even like Eldritch if you're still running into that. I always have liked evenly. And then just for some back row hate, we're playing double Cosmic and the one Feather Duster. People will side in stuff like Zombie World against you, so you need to be able to have answers to that. And obviously these are just good generic cards if your opponent's on some weird back row strategies. So definitely worth having in my opinion. Onto the extra deck. To be honest with you, extra deck was very last minute and it does not matter too much in this deck. There will be cases where you do need to go into your extra deck. They didn't come up for me, which is good because I didn't have the cards in my extra deck. I basically just added 15 cards to my extra deck so that I could resolve my Prosperities. But the few cards that do matter are your Ultimate Slayer targets. So obviously we have the Trouble Sunny for the Evil Twin link and as our link out. We're playing the Garura and the Natis just in case you need to out a fusion. Obviously this is a pop 2, this is a draw 1, so it kind of depends on the situation of the board. And then for the synchro targets, we're just playing Omega. Never came up. You're rarely going to be ultimate slayering against the synchro. And then the rest of the extra deck is honestly just 11 random cards that I pulled from my other extra decks. None of this came up. You should be playing kind of like the little birds that can attack directly and stuff, just to be able to trigger Zeus or be able to get some cheeky damage in. But this is really all I played. I didn't even have the ability to make any of these. I guess like the Charmer, Water Charmer or Phoenix could have came up, but it didn't. But yeah, there's definitely some room to improve the extra deck here, but it didn't really come up, so it's not the end of the world. In terms of improving the deck, I don't know if I'd change the main deck at all. The sideboard, I'd maybe change the Cosmics to something else because I didn't really see Cosmic. Feather Duster was very good. I kind of want to play Ghost Reaper, but I don't really know what I would cut. Obviously, there is room in the extra deck, but it seems like a pretty decent card in the format right now, and not a lot of people are very prepared for it. But anyways, guys, that's going to be the deck profile. If you did enjoy, be sure to subscribe to Team Rec and like the video.